Wolf Pack, what's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Road Street. RoadStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your Week 5 fantasy football sit-start show, baby. Another one to get after. We got the London game going on right now. It doesn't look great. I just traded for Josh Allen, of course. So my apologies to anybody that has Josh Allen, because clearly he didn't want to suck until he got to my team this week. But we'll hopefully pick this back up. We'll see how it's going. Let me know in the comments if there's any big plays I'm missing, any of that good stuff. My man CJ should be here soon. He's having some technical difficulties, hence the later start today. But I'm just going to dive right into it, and he'll join us whenever he can get here. So welcome on in, Wolfpack. Thank you so much for being here as we're getting let out live and settled in. If you're willing to give us that thumbs up, it does help us get out to more people. Share, likes, retweets, get other people to join us for this show and sub into the channel. It would mean the world. Thank you again so much for being here. Get those questions on in. And, of course, you can jump the line with a super chat. That's even the better way to support your boys. We've got some great, generous Sundays so far, and we really, really appreciate your support. It makes all this time so worthwhile. Let's dive into, though, as the audience is building, the mailbag is building, the Thursday Night Football recap, getting into first this Bears passing game. We now have 2 straight weeks of 4+ passing touchdowns for Justin Fields. There is a very, very select list of quarterbacks who have ever done that, and we're talking the Mannings, the Bradys, like the best of the best. So Fields does just continue to have these moments that make us wonder, why couldn't this be every single week? Because he is ridiculous right now. Just 2 back-to-back games with over 30 fantasy points. You love to see it, and it has been that true engine right now. DJ Moore, 10 targets, 8 catches, 230 yards, and 3 touchdowns against the Commanders. Whopping 45 points in half PPR leagues. If you start him, is there any better feeling out there, guys? I think I tweeted this on right after Thursday Night Football, but sex is cool, sure. But how about when you enter a weekend when you have just gotten 45 points from your wide receiver 2 in fantasy football? Nothing better, nothing BSD than that. It's the best to have that type of boost going into your weekend. Let's go, DJ Moore. Huge day for him, huge day for Fields. Definitely can trust him a little bit more moving forward. Other than those two, you got Cole Kmet. Tight end, such a crapshoot that every single week. Good morning, CJ. You got to be looking at Cole Kmet, 42 yards and a touchdown, 5 catches, back-to-back top 5 tight end weeks. Or at least we'll see how this one plays out. But I imagine that those 15 PPR points are going to be towards the top of the position this week. Cole Kmet having a resurgence, but other than those two, there's really not much you can trust in this passing game. Mooney, no targets, not worth being on your roster anymore. Claypool's now gone, so maybe it gets a little more condensed. But it's DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, really that's all you can trust in this passing game. How you doing this morning, big guy?
Not too bad. How about you?
Hey, not too hungover? I know you had a big birthday party last night, right?
No, actually, surprisingly, I'm not. Stayed away from the hard alcohol for the most part, so I'm feeling good.
Look at how much better we're getting. Just older men here staying away from hard alcohol. This is 5 years ago. I'd be waking up with like the drunk tank or something. Doing a live show with like you guys. We're just so mature and old now. Love to hear it. In the meantime, the Bears running game, Khalil Herbert, he did suffer an ankle injury. At first, he said right after the game, I'll be fine. But early reports now are suggesting he'll miss at least a few games. So Roschon Johnson, even though he suffered a concussion, a lot of people were getting trigger happy thinking maybe I have to cut this guy. Looks like he'll probably be getting some starts as long as he can clear protocol. It also does thrust Donta Foreman right onto the streaming radar as well. I'm a big Foreman guy. I love my fat, thick running backs, and he certainly fits that profile. He just churns and churns and churns and isn't even that bad as a receiver either. So I'm excited to see if he gets his role elevated should Roschon not be playing. Both those guys worth looking for at on your waiver wires. And then we got the Commanders passing game. 51 pass attempts for Sam Howell. You love to see that volume. You love that they entered the game 5th highest over pass rate expectations. Will probably move up a few spots at this point. What you don't love is where are those targets going? Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin combined for less targets and less catches than Logan Thomas. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I get that Eric Bieniemy comes from a Travis Kelce scheme, and he always likes to use the tight end. And Logan Thomas is certainly no Travis Kelce. But, man, 11 targets, 9 catches, 77 yards, and then those other 2 receivers, just 4 catches for 49 yards, 3 catches for 30 yards for Jahan Dotson, neither of them putting together anything worthwhile. And I know, CJ, that McLaurin one, but was it truly like, 1 yard away or something like that from a massive?
Yeah, it was so I had a 5-leg parlay. I think it was Howell, 2 touchdowns. What else was it? Oh, Fields 40 yards rushing, DJ Moore over 60 yards receiving, and then McLaurin over 50 yards. He needed 5 yards on that last drive when they were running down the field. He threw to like the backup white tight end 4 times. McLaurin then ran a slant, got 4 yards, and fell down without being.
Just a painful, brutal beat. Not how you want to start your Thursday. But those of you that started Sam Howell on our recommendation probably weren't too disappointed. Over 20 fantasy points on the day. The receivers are the disappointing part. And Logan Thomas, we're talking about early waiver wire already. Donta Foreman, Logan Thomas, still out there in a ton of leagues. A target hog day for him. He's moving around well. Just a couple of years ago, he was a lock top 6 tight end in every fantasy draft. And he is being used in this kind of Travis Kelce role, which is insane to even say. But got to keep him on your waiver wire as well. The only other note for the Commanders I have, and then we'll start getting into our quick news before then also hitting all your questions. Keep them coming in here, Wolfpack. But Commanders run game, it's just a dangerous reminder of how game flow dependent Brian Robinson can be. I do think had this started the way everyone expected, Commanders get up early, they believe with Brian Robinson, the man might have ran for 120 yards. He was looking solid out there on his 4 catches, 33 yards, bursting all over the field. But we also had Gibson then get 6 targets, 4 catches, 64 yards, more than half of the snaps. It's just a game flow situation. And unfortunately, the Commanders, it's not an offense. They can't get ahead early on the Bears. How often are they going to be getting ahead in early on games? So it does make Brian Robinson, if you can still somehow sell him after this type of performance, I don't know that you will be able to, but it does remind you that he is definitely more of a game flow RB2. So those are my big takeaways from Thursday Night Football, Wolfpack. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. Logan Thomas, those guys. Keep those questions coming on in, though. Thumbs up button can really, really help us get out to more people. Let's rip through this real quick. Garoppolo has cleared the concussion protocol. He will start in week 5. Definitely gives some more boost to hopefully Davante Adams. He did practice in full yesterday. Seems like he's trending the right way. I can't imagine he'd miss the game against his whole team, the chance for revenge. I expect big things from him. But Jimmy Garoppolo certainly doesn't hurt his cause there. And Jacoby Myers also getting a nice boost up there. Myers been talking about 12-plus times in both games with Jimmy Garoppolo so far this year. Definitely helps him out. Derek Carr was listed as questionable. He is expected to play. Unfortunately, he looked horrendous last week, just completely dinking and dunking. And yeah, Kamara, 13 catches. That was crazy, but they were all just behind the line of scrimmage, nothing creative. I think he had 33 yards on him. Yeah. It was the lowest anybody who's ever caught 10 catches has ever had. I saw something that the only other person to catch 13 balls, the next fewest yards, was over 70. And it makes sense. It's like almost impossible to have under 40 yards on 13 catches. They should
not even televise that Patriots game today. It's going to set
I won't watch it. I'm pure red zone today. They have to earn my views this year. I'll tell you that much. And they have not done so after last week's horrific display. I had some hope at the beginning of the year. Ugh. And then Kenny Pickett expected to play. They have a bye coming up next week. It kind of surprises me, honestly, that they're doing to show him rest for 2 days. So it tells you he must be fully healthy. It doesn't really matter for him. You weren't going to start him anyways. But a little bit better outlooks for Kenny Pickett, for George Pickens, rather. I still don't love the guy this week. I don't like any really Steelers at all. But it's a little bit better, at least with Pickett back there, I guess. I don't know. It's a hideous offense either way. Running back news. Jonathan Taylor gets the big extension. Let's not pay the guy at the beginning of the season just to pay him in week 4. Maybe they did see something they like. I don't know why this couldn't have been done in week 1. But maybe they just saw Richardson. The team looks like it's trending the right way. This division is wide open and up for grabs. And they go and cave anyways. After watching Zach Moss completely dominate and proving that they didn't need Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what's going on.
He averaged 95 yards a game. And then, so you're not paying him and you're making him sit out. And then Zach Moss is anyone can just run for 100 yards a game in this offense. And then they pay him a fat contract.
Yes. None of it makes sense. I don't get it. But hey, you know what? I'm happy Jonathan Taylor's back. I think this is a good, ripe offense. Clearly, as you were just saying, Zach Moss, nearly 100 yards a game. If he can do that, we wrote about this, Nat and me covered this a couple weeks ago. If Zach Moss is doing this, what the hell is Jonathan Taylor going to be doing in this offense? And I think we're going to get a chance to see that come to fruition now with that $42 million contract. He'll be out there today. The reports are he's expected to be on a snap count and have the workload continue to get ramped up. So it does make me a bit nervous to start him. Tennessee, great run defense, tough matchup there. But also, I understand there's a ton of buys. There's a lot of injuries going on right now. I'm freaking starting Chuba Hubbard in a league. I understand we're desperate here. So ultimately, if you end up needing Jonathan Taylor, absolutely you can play him. It's Jonathan Taylor. He's a stud. He's going to be fired up to be back with his teammates. I think I have him right around running back 21, 22 or so. given the tough matchup and workload concerns, but I know it's also a tough week at running back too. Saquon Barkley, that's why I had to start Chuba Hubbard, is questionable for week 5 against the Dolphins. Not great there. He's expected to now be rested this week. Hopefully he's back next week. This would have been a great spot. This offense truly needs him at this point. I think maybe these running backs are starting to kind of, between him, Eckler, like trying to drive home just how bad, at least it's working with Daniel Jones's case, how bad this offense is without them out there. And they're making a pretty strong point at this. I remember that Zoom call of all the running backs. I wonder if they said that, if you get hurt, maybe you milk the injury just another week or two. Honestly, who can freaking blame the guys? If they're on one-year deals, they're on these contracts. I get it. I hate it as a fantasy owner because I obviously want Saquon back for my team. But I honestly sympathize with the guy. And who knows, had he gotten a huge deal, if he maybe re-gutting it out more with his teammate right now. We'll never know. But that's kind of what I think is going on. Kyren Williams practices in full on Friday. He's off the injury report. I've done a lot of sit starts about him. He was our higher, lower Hail Mary. I normally don't feature a running back that high, but I also was getting question after question. I'm +5 ECR. He's my running back 7. He's only been below the running back 6 once. He scored 2 touchdowns in every single game but 1 so far this year. And I get it. The Eagles, scary D-line. Fletcher Cox out, though. That doesn't hurt. It is kind of brutal there. But ultimately, he's so involved, Kyren, running the most routes among running backs so far this year, even more than CMC, playing nearly 100% of the snaps. He's going to get his in every single facet of the game, and I understand less targets up for grabs with Kupp back. We're going to hit that shortly. Puka obviously has to get his too, but Kyren will get his 4 to 5 dump-offs. And Sean McVay, we have a track record of him loving to run it in the red zone when he has the right running back. Gurley had, 27 touchdowns that year? I mean, he does love to just cap the drive off. They have that nice wide scheme that creates the opening lanes in those tight quarters. And he's got a great nose for the end zone. He's been awesome there. So I know it's a long-winded rant, but I've gotten 8 questions in my DMs this morning about Kyren Williams, and I don't get it. Like, the guy has
that's kind of silly to me. he's locked in everywhere in my
it's silly.
Just like with how bad the running back situation is.
Especially, yes, exactly. And I get the questions must be fueled because by the ECR, he's like running back 14, 15. He should be in most lineups, but I don't get why he's not a locked-in top 12 running back by everybody at this point. It's silly. Jaleel McLaughlin expected to have a larger workload regardless of whether or not Javonte Williams plays. Has there been any clarity on that yet, CJ? Is he going to suit up? I know he got a pretty full practice in, I thought I saw from Javonte. Campanelli shaking his head no. So I guess no firm news there. Diggs touchdown. Love to see that. Thank you, Campanelli, keeping me posted there. So ultimately, we don't have much clarity on that. I honestly, if Williams plays, I'd even still rather have Jaleel McLaughlin in my lineup. I'm not opposed to playing McLaughlin. Obviously, I'd rather not if Williams plays, but if that's been your plan all week and you don't really have much of a better option, I love this Jaleel McLaughlin kid. Sean Payton loves this Jaleel McLaughlin kid. Undrafted free agent, smaller size guy, elite college producer. What was it, like over 8,000 rushing yards and 70.
The NCAA's all-time leading rusher. It's crazy.
The kid can play. He can absolutely flat out play. 4 touchdowns in the preseason. PFF's #1 preseason running back. I'm a huge fan of him. And a couple of my guys in the Broncos, I have a few fans that they were like, Lindsey's the guy a few years ago. His name's Mike. And I always respect his opinion on the Buffalo the Denver backfield moving forward. He just goes, they're going to ride this guy. Trust me, you want McLaughlin over Javonte rest of the year. And I've always trusted Mike's insight there. So I'm riding. I like McLaughlin. He's the one that was handpicked by this regime. And I think he's going to be used regardless of Williams out there. Obviously, like him more if Williams is out. But even if not, I think you can play McLaughlin. Let us know if you have any Jaleel McLaughlin. I want to spend time on him just to remind you that I definitely would consider starting him this week.
Yeah, Javonte is a game time decision, and they're calling it actually a quad injury, which I thought it was a hip initially. But.
It's quad and hip flexor. Yeah, it's listed as quad, but he has both things going on. He confirmed both were bugging him. So it seems like a good spot to rest him. I did misquote on our Jaleel McLaughlin clip. I said they have a week 7 bye. It actually is week 9. So that argument that they might just rest him for 2 weeks, get to the bye, and then keep going doesn't make quite as much sense. I can't imagine they'll hold him up all the way through week 9. I really think they're going to go in with McLaughlin being the centerpiece, though. That's what they've been practicing all week. Even if Williams ends up open and available, I imagine that this offense will be centered more so around McLaughlin here. And I'm really excited about him. I think that kid can play 10 touches, 104 yards, and a touchdown last week. Just produces every time he gets used. Ramondre Stevenson, I'd actually rather have Jaleel McLaughlin over Ramondre this week. He's questionable. Maybe the script will favor him if they get down early. I think that game is just going to be so bad. 2.7 yards a clip. He has just been hideous, one of the bigger busts of the year. Someone we avoided. One of our fades of the year was Ramondre, even before Zeke came, and then after Zeke showed up, absolutely. So that one's looking okay as a fade so far, for sure. Aaron Jones is questionable for Monday night. I do expect him to play. I am a little worried after that limited usage last time. If he's still a little dinged up, are they going to give him a full workload? But against the Raiders, such a good run matchup for seemingly a decade now. They've been a horrible run defense. So I still like Aaron Jones. It's so tough to bench him. And I feel like all those like Monday night primetime games is where you'll get like classic 60-yard touchdown run, 70-yard the next drive, and you just can't have Jones on your bench when that stuff happens. Eli Mitchell will not play, so 100% snap share for CMC coming in once again. 50 fantasy points, maybe. Obviously, the Cowboys a much tougher matchup, but I'll never – CMC is just the ultimate cheat code this year. If you have him, congratulations. Like, he should have been number one overall. He was number one on this guy's big board all preseason, just saying. And if you're doing any redrafts, midseason stuff, it's, of course, him. And Keaton Mitchell, he did not end up getting the call-up today, so you can continue to stash him in your IR slot. I recommend it because they definitely need some juice. Third fastest 40 time of this class. Our girl, Kayla Morton, awesome article on him on the website. She saw him firsthand for years, covered him in college, and she thinks he could really be that true lightning to the thunder of Gus Edwards, and I absolutely agree with her. So it might be a week away. It's going to be a week away. We're not going to see him this week, but he was practicing in full by the end of it. I could see his role getting elevated. If by next week he's still kind of healthy scratching or whatever, you can cut him, you can move on. But I think, giving that to Kenyon Drake's the next option. I think Keaton Mitchell is a week or two away from really an elevated role here. Moving on to wide receivers, and we'll pack that thumbs up button. We're so close to getting your questions. Please do consider hitting that for us. It would mean the world. Let's get
up. We have a super chat regarding running backs if you want to hit that before the receiver.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, sorry. I didn't. Oh, Bearded RN. Thank you so much for the super chat in support of the show. Of course, you get to cut the line. My bad. I didn't see Campanelli's comment. He was on top of it. So that's my fault. What do we got, CJ?
So as you were saying earlier about Kyren Williams, who wants to know to start two of these, Kyren Williams, Connor, or Mixon?
I can see why that's a question. That's a really tough one. I still go with Kyren. I just can't personally bench him myself. He's in that same tier. And I think a lot of experts have him ranked below both of those guys. I kind of honestly look at that, and I like Kyren and Connor. Mixon has that 50-point day in his realm of possibility every single week. Has he scored a touchdown yet, though, this year? Like, that offense has been –
I don't think so. That offense
he had one on Monday Night Football. I remember that game. He had one. And we did just see – I mean, the Cardinals got – by CMC. Now, I know CMC is not Mixon. Mixon's not CMC, rather. But ultimately, that's a really tough one. To me, Williams is my favorite here. I'm going to kind of weigh more Connor versus Mixon. Connor, I mean, the Cincy line is allowing – I think it's the second most yards before contact. This line has been playing really well for the Cardinals, protecting Dobbs. They made that first-round injection. The dude from Ohio State, right, the tackle, he's looking awesome for the Cardinals. Yeah, he's a monster in there. So this line was already decent, and they really have taken another step, and the run holes have been awesome for Connor. He hasn't been getting the dink and dunks, but, man, like, I love James Conner. I feel like he's a little safer. This is a really tough one, though, because, like, part of me does think this could be the Mixon, like, 3 touchdown, blowing kisses, like love and life type of game. All these guys are Kyren 7, Mixon 11. I think I have James Conner actually the lowest of them, but talking it through, I think I prefer James Conner to Mixon. I don't know, CJ. Do you have any strong leaning on any of this?
When I first saw the question, I leaned with the first two. We already talked about Kyren earlier, but I love Connor's just been so consistent. I'm staying away from the Bengals offense right now, even though Mixon could be like their only bright spot, I guess, today. But I'm sticking with the first one.
It's tricky. So let's look at Mixon's games on the year so far. The matchup's juicy, as we talked about, 9, 12, 14, and 8. He just really hasn't had much of a ceiling, whereas we've seen Connor have a few much bigger days, 10, 17, 19, and then 6 last week. But that was against San Fran. He's been one of those snap monsters too. I'm almost at the point with the Bengals where I'm like, until I see Joe Burrow looking okay, this offense they're the worst in the league. I think they have the fewest points in the league behind even the Giants at this point. The Giants are abysmal. So I don't know. I have a really hard time when it's like you're picking in pins and needles here, I think I'm going to go Connor and Kyren, and I need to update my rankings because I always want to reflect that. But yeah, I think I feel better about Connor and Kyren than I do Mixon. I feel horrible if this is Mixon's like 50-point come out party, but I don't know. I just don't think anything in that offense looks good right now. So yeah, I'm going Connor Kyren. Is that your ultimate decision here for the bearded RN?
Yeah, I'm sticking there for the bearded RN.
All righty, bearded RN. Good luck. I think you got a bunch of good options there. And I think a lot of logic would tell you to bench Kyren because of the Eagles and that D-line. And oh my God, I can't bench that guy. A touchdown monster. Brian Robinson should have 2 touchdowns against him last week. He barely missed a second touchdown. So I'm sticking with Kyren there, bearded RN. All right, Lions receivers. Big news of the day is St. Brown going to be out this week. Jamison Williams expected to be fired up, but could be on a snap count. Reynolds questionable, likely to play though, and Khalif Raymond probably stepping into that slot role. I know our man Snowdeal hit a great piece on him. If you're wondering about Khalif Raymond, check out the website. I think he is a very viable stream today. This offense, last time that St. Brown missed, it was last season. It was the day that Hawkinson had like 45 points before he got traded. I could see Sam Laporta doing something similar to that. This kid is a monster. He's an athletic freak. Me and my brother laughing today because we're looking at like his headshot, Laporta. He looks like a 50-year-old man that you meet at the Anchor, had crushing beers, like just chilling there, like salt of the earth kind of guy, which makes it that much better when he's making these like one-handed grabs on the sideline, like smooth in and out of his breaks. I love Laporta. I think he is an absolute monster. I think
he kind of does have like the North Shore look now that I'm looking at him with those helmet.
He looks like an old man, doesn't he? Like, just classic. Like I absolutely love that.
From like Gloucester or something.
Yeah, exactly. Gets off the boat and goes and his fishing's done for the day. Puts back a cold one at the local tap. Big fan of Laporta though, and I think he could definitely have one of those like 10 catch, 120-yard, 2 touchdown blow-ups. He's only 5K on DraftKings. I'm building around him in a lot of leagues. I can't decide if I bump him ahead of Andrews or not. He's definitely up there in that same tier at this point for me. But Andrews just coming off a 25-point day. It's tough to – I guess it doesn't really matter. You know, if you probably don't have both of those guys. But, yeah, I absolutely love Laporta today. I do think Raymond, getting that slot role. Last time St. Brown missed, he actually kind of disappointed, though, didn't do a ton. It became the Hawkinson show. Josh Reynolds had a few nice catches as well. I think Reynolds definitely more viable as a streamer than the other receiver options here. He's got the rapport. He has 6 catches, 60 yards in 3 of his 4 games. Like he's definitely been there throughout the season. So I actually like Reynolds. I want to make sure I have him.
I'm starting Reynolds because I have Amon-Ra in the league.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I put Reynolds above the Jets guys. I'm bumping him up now. What do you think about Reynolds versus Michael Wilson? Like, I'm a big Michael Wilson guy, the Cardinals receiver.
Yeah. I think Reynolds has like the higher floor. I'd probably feel just safer with Reynolds.
I think he's safer. I agree with you. Maybe not quite the ceiling of Wilson. What about Reynolds or Pickens?
I'd probably go Pickens there.
Yeah, it's right around where he slides in. So Reynolds up to my wide receiver.
I was deciding between Reynolds and Wandale, but I already have Waller, and I just can't have 2 Giants pass catchers.
Oh no, yeah, you got to go Reynolds there. I have Reynolds like 10 spots, and I like Wandale. We'll talk about him shortly. Yeah. But yeah, no, you got to go Reynolds there. Ultimately, he becomes one of the best streams of the day. I actually don't even know his DraftKings price. I should probably double check how much Reynolds is on DraftKings. Meanwhile, we do have Jamison Williams. I do know Khalif Raymond's 3,300 on DraftKings, and I've snuck him into a few lineups. I do think he's a little bit lower. He's my wide receiver 48, but still viable. And then Jamison, my wide receiver 45. I'm like 20 spots above ECR. We'll see if he's definitely locked into the lineup. Probably, again, will be getting his legs under him. But I think you sent the clip to me, CJ. Like, they're talking about him in practice, making these wow plays. All summer, the hype was very real about him working out with Calvin Johnson. He just brings a different element than anybody. Very few people in the league, not necessarily even the Giants, the Lions rather. Very few people have this type of speed that Jamison Williams has. He's an absolute animal. So
they did say he was going to play about 20 snaps today, but with him though, like he only needs 4 targets.
He's one. He has 1 NFL catch and it's a 41-yard touchdown. So the Panthers don't scare me much at all. I bet you they take a couple uncorking shots at him and maybe he converts one. You could do worse. I'd rather have Jamison than Khalif Raymond, even though Raymond will probably be more of the every snap player. I'm going to swing for the home run if I'm in that type of shitty situation. But let us know if you have a Jamison Williams question, a Josh Reynolds. Reynolds being my preferred option, then JMO, then Khalif Raymond. All of them, though, warrant streamable consideration. I do have Wandale Robinson. I mentioned I'm going to talk about him. I have above Khalif Raymond, but I would have the other Lions receivers below him. I do like Wan'Dale a lot, especially with Saquon ruled out. They're going to need all the offensive help they can get. They're going to be playing from behind. They're 12.5-point underdogs and probably going to be worse than that. So they're going to need something. And we've seen Wan'Dale be that engine to this offense before. 13 targets, 9 catches, and 100 yards last year in his final game. And that was in about 3 quarters. He was just getting every single dink and dunk in college, a 39% target share in college. Insane. It was a 99th percentile college. I wrote about it too. If you want more Wan'Dale information, go check out RoadStreetJournal.com. We got a bunch of these like streamers written up this week. It's been great for us. Our views in Google have been cooking with it. So we've been trying to hit those and give you guys a lot more info for those streams, those tricky decisions. So I wrote about Wan'Dale. I am a big fan. Even if you don't have to play him this week, get ahead of the waiver wire, 22% rostered right now. I could see him getting like an 8-catch day and being that, oh, you guys spend $25-30 on him. Go pick him up now. Go see what happens. If he sucks, then you can cut him. It doesn't really matter. But I'm a big Wan'Dale fan. I know our man Duck would agree. Do you like Wan'Dale? Are you a Robinson guy or not really?
Yeah, I am. It just sucks because I have Waller everywhere. So like I'm never gonna I picked him up and I'm like, I'm never gonna play this guy because I just cannot have them both in my lineup at the same time.
Can never have 2 giants. I know.
No.
I bet you at some point you're gonna end up benching Waller and putting Wan'Dale in because Wan'Dale's just gonna become the engine. We'll see how that ends up going. Enough time on Giants receivers because 140 pass yards in 3 or 4 games below that. Pretty pathetic there. T. Higgins out against the Cardinals. He's been one of the biggest busts of the year. Definitely a scary pass offense to be a part of. I do not trust Joe Burrow at all today. But if you want to trust Ja'Marr Chase, of course, he's a top 6 receiver. Terrible secondary. He's getting it doesn't necessarily benefit Chase because, of course, he's better when Burrow can uncork it and he's got that deep ball upside. But they're also using him in that layup kind of St. Brownie role where he's just getting those chink, dink, dinks and ripping it up the field on yards after the catch. And Chase can do that. So in PPR, it's actually kind of helped him, his floor at least stabilize. I do think the ceiling won't be there until we can get a Joe Burrow that can actually plant on his calf and uncork that thing. Deebo Samuel, he was removed from the injury report. And the Insider podcast that I was listening to earlier talked a bit about how Deebo's a significantly step ahead of where he was at this time last week, was more of a decoy. He did run 86% of the routes, didn't see a single target. But a lot of the chatter is he's much, much healthier than he was at this point last week. So I do think Deebo, and that's going to be a great one. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, 49ers. We have a great slate. I love the schedule today. It is very well organized. And that is a great one. 4 o'clocks. I love when you get like a quad of 4 games instead of 3. It's going to be a great day of football. I cannot wait. Christian Watson was limited and then ultimately practiced in full yesterday off the injury report. Definitely could see his targets, routes, everything going up to normal. And I said it on the Thursday show with Truth. I think this could be his coming out party. And it's just like, welcome to the 2023 season. Christian Watson, 2 touchdowns, huge day. Big fan of him this week. Let me know if you have questions on him. Last couple gross notes. Treylon Burks out. Doesn't really matter. More DeAndre Hopkins targets. It only matters in DFS if you want to stream like Nick Westbrook-Akini. He actually has 14 or more points in 2 of his 3 games, the past 3. And he did really well. He played every snap without Burks last week. And he just he's always one of those guys that pops on red zone. It's like, hey, that helps nobody. Maybe he can help you in DFS this week. You never know. He's only like 3,400. A way to pivot off of Wan'Dale, who's 3K. Khalif Raymond, 3,300. Those guys are going to get a good amount of ownership steam. Nobody's going to play Nick Westbrook-Akini. So we can clip this one, CJ, when he scores a touchdown. Nobody's going to play Nick Westbrook-Akini, but you should. And we'll just delete the tape when he does nothing like he probably will. Odell Beckham is expected to play. Rashad Bateman also off the injury report. Those guys don't matter at this point. As Todd Monken offense take a little bit to warm up here. Lamar's been a beast. Multiple rushing and passing touchdowns back-to-back weeks, even against a good Cleveland defense, 28 fantasy points. You can roll Lamar all day. You can roll Zay Flowers as number 1 guy. And, of course, you play Mark Andrews against the Steelers. Beckham and Bateman both have big play upside. They could get deep against the Steelers secondary, but they just haven't been there. So I'm worried about them. Wrapping the receivers up with Chase Claypool, going to the Dolphins. I guess long-term, if you're playing in Dynasty League, I'd rather have him here than the Bears. I don't expect him to regain any immediate value unless there's an injury, but I'm not ready to completely throw the towel in on Claypool. I know he's been a team cancer. He is whiny, unjustifiably so. I hate that. I think he feels like he deserves more than he's ever earned, and I don't like that. That being said, the kid is like a physical specimen, and if anyone's going to maximize his skill set, I trust Mike McDaniel. If he has a vision for this kid, maybe we can actually see him regain his NFL career here. But I still don't really like. I don't really want to root for him. Honestly, I don't like Claypool in that sense. Unnecessarily cocky, but he has flashed some crazy upside. And then last note, Juwan Johnson's out. I mean, what does it become? Foster Moreau, Jimmy Graham, maybe Taysom Hill gets a few more looks. It's just such a bad game. I don't want any Patriots or Saints really, other than maybe Olave and Kamara in my lineups. And then a couple of quick line injuries. We do have 2 tackles returning for the Texans. Love that. I mean, CJ Stroud, all this, Daniel Jones has the worst line in the league, and he, it's the line's fault. Stroud's had a backup, complete second-string line all year, and he has been carving up NFL defenses. I love what he's doing. I'm sure you're absolutely pumped to see your Ohio State boy. I mean, was he being held back to Ohio State? He looks even better than he did that.
Unbelievable. And with Fields starting to wake up, it's great.
Yeah. And hey, our Dynasty QB number 1 in the preseason, I remember tweeting it out. A lot of people, this is a BS take. Richardson can run all over the place. And Richardson's looked amazing, too, fantasy-wise.
Or that absolute shrimp down in Carolina.
Yeah. But yes, I mean, Stroud just feels so safe moving forward. Like, he's only going to grow in this offense. And now he gets his line in that. This is all to say. He's going to be the best protection he's had all year. So you love to see that. And the Cowboys get Tyron Smith back, so that's going to help that blind side. Teron Armstead is on injured reserve. That's one of the only concerns right now with this Dolphins offense. They'll probably continue to hum, but he is a monster left tackle. So it should not be going overlooked completely against good teams, good pass rushes. Giants do not qualify there, but in typical games, this could be a concern in the future. All righty, guys, that wraps up all the news I got for you. It is now time for all your sit starts. Our man David Campanelli will be keeping his eyes peeled for any super chats. And he is the call-in, so I want to put him on in. So Campanelli, welcome. Great to see you,
what's going on, guys?
Happy Sunday, brother. How are we?
Hanging in. That Amon-Ra news kind of took me for a loop this morning.
Yeah, that was a punch in the gut. That one kind of came out of nowhere. I did not expect that this week.
So at wide receiver 3, would you run Tyler Boyd out or Marvin Mims, or would you take the bet on Wandale? And I have Daniel Jones at Superflex in that league.
Oh, boy. I'm
sorry.
Let me just
that's only because a certain somebody
who was high on him? Who would ever recommend Daniel Jones?
I don't know. Some weird guy on YouTube that I started to follow.
I read like 1,400 words on him in the preseason guide.
Yeah, it's the longest article in our entire guide. I know. It's awful. I'm embarrassed by that one. But hey, at least
what the Giants stack today? Good the one day Danny Dimes stack.
I do think that's honestly not a horrible option. Is it full PPR, Campanelli?
Yeah, it's full PPR, and I was kind of thinking Boyd just because of Higgins being out, but Burrow scares me. And I have
Burrow terrifies me, honestly, maybe even more than Daniel Jones right now, which is like it's frightening as you can say. But I actually kind of like Wandale today. I didn't even put this in my writing piece, and I don't know if you have a quick way to edit it, CJ, but he did the Dolphins have allowed the 8th most yards, 8th most targets to the slot. They've been a good plus matchup for slot receivers. And in a full PPR especially, I have very full faith that Wandale's going to catch at least 6 balls. Now, is it 6 balls for 35, 40 yards? That very well could be the case, but you're going to get to probably 10 PPR points on just volume alone with Wandale. And if he somehow breaks one, or if he's racking up the yards, they're going to need to chuck it, and I really do think he's going to be their main vein. Now, as somebody who has a lot of Daniel Jones and has had to try to sit and watch these games and root for this offense, there's not a worse viewing experience in football right now. It is so embarrassingly abysmal that I don't know that I want to put a giant in and have to turn on that game ever. But I do think Wandale will get you 10 PPR points at minimum. I think I ended up statting him out at 7 catches, 65 yards. So it's not a crazy play, but 13 PPR points. I'm sure you'd take that in these type of dire straits right here.
Yeah, it's hopefully just a 1-week rental. So
yeah.
Okay,
I think he's worth the shot. I would go with him.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we missed you on Thursday, Campbell. That was my bad. We didn't pull in the call in. I completely forgot you were just moderating, and
we're good.
It was my fault. I don't know if you heard the apology after we went off there, but we forgot to pull in Campanelli. What's wrong with us?
I feel like Tommy during from the Sports Advisors on Barstool. Go
Yes.
to Campanelli. Go to Campanelli for something.
You
What
need
does
to
he got?
wear like a funny outfit or something.
Yeah, we got to get you a uniform over there, something to wear.
I'll start looking around the house, see what I got.
Wear, like,
Love it, Kevin. Good to
Have
see
a
you,
good
brother.
one, guys.
Good luck today, brother. All righty. On to the questions. And usually leading off these questions is Mr. Juan Pena. Gets here super early, camps out in the tent overnight, gets his questions in. I love to see it. What's going on, Mr. Pena?
So he's asking who from my receiver spot and 2 flex spots, so 3 total. Jaden Reed, Dell, Mims, Gainwell, or Tutu.
I'm going Dell is the easy one.
What are your thoughts with Tutu? Like, do you think he'll slide into the 3 role? Do you think it's Van Jefferson? Like, what do you think about Tutu?
So with Atwell, yeah, that's a really tricky one. Dell is definitely my favorite. To get to Atwell, I like that question. It really should Atwell be that number 3? Absolutely. Van Jefferson's useless. We've seen years of it at this point. He just goes out there to run wind sprints and spread the defense. Atwell has that speed. He can do that field stretching role, but then he does so much more underneath and after the catch. It is going to be tricky, though, because if Kupp isn't limited, and I don't even know if I said this one, but Cooper Kupp obviously activated, and the talk is he's not going to be limited at all. So, yes, you're starting Cooper Kupp. I mean, we know that. If you have Cooper Kupp, you've been waiting. He's in your snap especially if he doesn't have snap limitations. I don't know what's going to be up for grabs because Tutu hasn't even been that consistent of a volume source. And we know Puka is going to, at least I feel, very, very confident in Puka still getting his. I think Cooper Kupp is obviously still Cooper Kupp. If he wasn't fully healthy, they wouldn't be risking him right now. I don't know that there's going to be much up for grabs, but that all being said, with these options, Tank Dell's the lock, and then we need 2 more. I like Tutu, honestly, more than Jaden Reed. I don't know. I don't hate Jaden Reed. I don't like Gainwell. I love Marvin Mims, the player, but until he's playing more than 30% of the routes, he's tough to trust. He's probably the best home run of all these guys, though. But the Jets, this is tough. These guys are all in that kind of like gross similar tier. I would probably go Tank Dell, Tutu Atwell, Jaden Reed. That's kind of how I feel about these 3. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, the Tutu thing kind of scares me, but I mean, he could just get freed up with Kupp and Nakua.
Right?
I could definitely see him scoring. He actually was like kind of decent in the red zone too. Yeah, I do. Tank is my lock here, and then probably Tutu, and then Mims for his like 3 receptions, and just hope that he scores one.
I agree. I think I just got breaking news, by the way, that Olave might have hurt himself in pregame workouts. Looks like an ankle, no bueno ahead of the any matchup. Pivot if you have a good option. Yeah, he's like getting helped by trainers and stuff. So I don't even know if he's going to play. But if he does, like a flared up ankle, a gross game anyways, let me just bump down Olave. Guys, let us know if you have a Chris Olave questions. I'm just going to do it live right here. I don't know. Something for us to track, and please, anybody else in the comments, I know Campanelli in the private chat, you'll be looking. As we get news on what's going on with Olave's ankle, but apparently flared up in pregame ahead of the matchup. That's not something
I just saw one of the let me see what she is. I think she's a Saints reporter, Brooke Kirschhofer.
Yeah.
In case you missed it during our live show, Chris Olave was moving around fine later in warm-ups. That was a minute ago.
Oh, okay. All righty. Panic averted. I just got a text that was like, be very careful with Chris Olave. Oh, crap. I still don't love him, honestly, and I was kind of looking for a reason to bump him down, and I just couldn't because it's Chris Olave, and he's so damn good, but I don't trust Derek Carr right now. So I'm going to put Olave – I'm putting him below Marquise Brown. Am I crazy? Marquise has been nasty.
Yeah, right now with Carr, especially how he's kind of banged up too. Like his arm, I think is just.
Yeah, you told me Jameis was in here. Chris Olave would be right still in my top 10. I don't know that I trust anything about Derek Carr or any piece of this offense other than Kamara at this point. So yeah, I'm moving him down. I'm publishing that, pushing it through. He's down to my wide receiver 21, so it sounds like it's not overly a big concern, but I've gotten some questions like Olave, Ayuk, like in leagues where people just have stacked receiver cores. You got to go Ayuk. You got to go Debo even at this point. Like I'm bumping him down to like wide receiver 20. Let us know if you have a Chris Olave question, a flex question that you might toss him in with like a running back now. Like what about my brother, like fresh on the heels of this news, just texted me, Pacheco or Olave today. I'd probably go Pacheco.
Probably Pacheco, yeah.
And that's half PPR for measuring. So yeah, I know that meant nothing for you, Juan, but yeah, I go Reed, Tank Dell, and Tutu there. I think those are the best plays.
For his second league, for his receiver 2 and a flex, Dubs, Myers, Wilson, Tank, Mims.
I like Tank still. I really do. I know last week was a dud. If you wouldn't want to go back to him, Romeo Doubs looks awesome. I mean, 12 and 13 targets back-to-back weeks. Like, he's sick. He was part of my Josh Allen trade, and I still think I got the better of that deal, 100%. But I also, like, he was the toughest piece to let go. He's nasty. I just have him and Watson, so it's one of those maddening situations that I just didn't want to deal with. But I also now recognize, like, I probably should have kept him if I could have, because he's a handcuff almost to Watson. I do really like Dobbs. I mean, this is full PPR too, I think, for Juan. And Jacoby Myers, we talked about it. He's seen 12 or more targets in every game with Jimmy G. These are all really – I mean, I love Michael Wilson. Mims is a great bench stash. These are all like classic wide receiver threes that I really like all of them. I still think Tank Dell's the guy for me on this list. What about you, CJ?
I'm going the first two, Dubs and Myers.
So it's two of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Tank Dell, and I'm going to go Myers, I think. That's a tough one, Juan. We'll move on, but I like Tank the most. I'll go Tank and Dobbs, though. That's who I go.
Sarno, what's up, boys? Happy Sunday. Happy PR. Do I wait to see if Adams plays with Reed as a backup plan, or do I just start either Madison, Pierce, or Sutton?
No, Adams is going to play. It sounds like he's trending the right way. I think Reed's an okay backup plan. None of these guys, Madison playing much better, could be a decent backup plan, but the upside of Davante Adams against his old team, the way he's smashing this year, again, you can't have Adams. If unless there's like a report today that he's trending towards being out, you got to play Adams there. Do you agree with that, CJ? Like, I don't think any of those options.
Yeah, no, it seemed I haven't really seen anything that has said that he's definitely a game conversation or anything.
Yeah, he didn't practice Friday, but then he got a full in, I think, yesterday, and it seems like they're just kind of resting him, getting him ready for the big day. So we'll see.
Sarno again, pick two of these, picking Sutton, Flowers, Dell, London.
I would go Flowers is my favorite, and I think Tank Dell.
You're all in on the
I know last week was spooky, but 2 weeks in a row, should have had 2 touchdowns, had one. I think that's more of who he is than the disappearance last week. I think Nico Collins is probably the one there. Yeah, he is. But Dell is really good, and I'm not too scared of him. I'm going Flowers. If you didn't want to go take Dell, I guess Pickens might be the next one for me, but I really like Flowers is the top one by a mile, and then Dell.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you with Flowers. Dell I like, especially half PPR or PPR. So yeah, I'll go with you there. Make it less complicated. Giuseppe, good morning, fellas. Happy Sunday, Kittle or Laporta?
Oh, Laporta. I don't know if you heard the early rant there, Giuseppe, but yeah, I think Laporta has like that Hawkinson type of 40-point monster day today. Love Laporta today.
I know. I wish I got some Laporta. I have nothing.
I wish I had so much more of him. I have him in like my league with Hills and all of us. That's the only one I have him in, unfortunately. Some best ball too, but only a smattering of best ball. Like we should have this. Maybe we'll do this like with the truth or you or someone soon. But like, who were the picks that just truly are changing leagues right now? Laporta, where he went, is one of those picks that's like huge value. Yeah. We got a super chat from Catherine Jagir. Any relation to Katie Jagir, I wonder. Where's the super chat? There it is. Battle of the Jagirs. Oh, it is the Jagirs. I'm not used to seeing Katie ever called. I don't know if I've ever seen you call him Catherine. This is my cousin. This is like weird for me to even answer this. Seems way too formal, Catherine. Battle of the Jagirs. We know which one I'm pulling for, and it ain't Billy. Full PPR, Thielen or Dobbs? Ooh, that's a good one, too. I never thought we'd be asking Thielen questions. I actually kind of like Thielen this preseason. It just sucks when he has Bryce Young. The ceiling is so much lower. It's crazy that the number one overall QB that you traded away, Justin Fields and probably Caleb Williams, DJ Moore and probably Caleb Williams for, was a horrendous trade, in my opinion. I don't like what I see from Bryce Young at all. He is so conservative, and Detroit's been actually a pretty good pass defense this year. Sneaky good. I feel like I feel better about Romeo Dobbs there. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, Dobbs has been so good, and I feel like he's on the bench in one of my leagues every week for some reason. I don't know. It's just because I don't know. There's just some of those players that you just never really buy in on, but they just continue to do well.
And they just
that's it for me. So, I'm going Dobbs.
Yeah, good matchup with the Raiders. I do think Watson will be more involved, but I don't think Watson gaining more of a role. I have them ranked 25 and 26. I think both of those guys can very well coexist. And Jordan Love's just been so encouraging. I definitely think he can sustain at least a couple months. And if the running game's banged up too, even more. So yeah, Katie, I go Dobbs there. Good luck. The battle of the years.
Daniel Colquhoun. Maybe we won't read the beginning. Then.
Oh yeah. So I think that's the text I got. So Culk had me a little worried. It sounds like CJ had said he saw another tweet that he's moving around fine. Ultimately, doesn't seem like it will be a big issue. It is if we did say if it's kind of the measuring stick between him and like an Ayuk or somebody that you feel better about, then you can bench him. I bumped him to wide receiver 22 just on the matchup alone. I don't like this spot. The Pats don't have obviously Christian Gonzalez now though. He's like our secondary could be abysmal. He was such a stud and really kind of changed how we can defend teams. I am worried that like Olave, it could be a snap overreaction to bench him just because of a pregame thing. I think he'll be okay. Sky Moore or JMO? I got to go JMO there. I mean, Sky Moore's got the matchup against the Vikings, but he's garbage. He's not good. He doesn't do anything. I think Rashee Rice, honestly, if he's out there, Colt, I'd rather have Rashee Rice than either of these guys. If it's full PPR, I honestly think I'd rather have Wandale or Khalif Raymond over these guys. But if it's half PPR, I think you roll the dice on JMO and just hope for a couple grenades. He's such a playmaker, such field separating type of speed. So I like JMO certainly over Sky Moore. I tossed out a couple other options though, given the super chat here. Thank you so much, Colt, for the support here, brother. I think I go JMO and go for the grenade, even though it has that zero.
I'm not a Sky Moore guy, as you know. So
yeah, you wrote week 1, cut him. I think if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. Hope he's still out on the waiver wire.
Yeah, until he changes his number away from 24, I won't ever have him again.
Horrible.
As good as that matchup is, I hate that Chiefs wide receiver roulette. Like, I don't want to play that game anymore. I'm not trying to. Other than Rashee Rice, I really do think that rookie is starting to ascend and carve out a more consistent role. I think he's the one that eventually becomes 100% snaps, like the clear number 2 behind Kelsey type of role. I really like Rashee Rice. But I'm going to go Jameson Williams if it's these two. Coke definitely feels quite a bit safer to me.
I got us in the spot up top. So.
Awesome. Thank you again so much for the support too.
Speaking of Sky Moore, should I drop Kareem Hunt for Josh Reynolds and start him over Sky Moore with Amon-Ra out?
Yes.
And Amon-Ra and Gibbs are officially out, and so is Saquon as well.
Ugh. Come back soon, Saquon. All righty. But yes, Giuseppe, I absolutely do that.
Nicola,
I think Campanelli's brains just got splattered onto the screen too.
Need help with my receiver too. Should I play Debo, Hopkins, or Rashee Rice? Worried a little bit about Debo's usage in a matchup against Dallas.
Nicola, I totally get it after that scare with Debo last week. But as I was saying, I don't know if you caught earlier in the broadcast, they're saying he's much healthier than he was this time last week. It should be a full go. But they're not worried about having to limit him at all. So I do like Debo this week. Definitely over those guys. There's only one.
A ton of gambling guys love Hopkins this week. Like I'm seeing it on Twitter, like his overs everywhere.
Which I don't hate either because he gets so much volume, and now he's facing an Indy secondary that's one of the worst in the leagues. So I think Hopkins is actually in a pretty good spot. He's in my top 24 receivers this week. I do like him. But I think Debo. I think I still go Debo over him. I have Debo at 16, Hopkins 24. Hopkins would be an interesting pick. Rice, as intriguing as he is not in that conversation, not yet. What do you think of Debo versus Hopkins this week? I think I go Debo, even though Hopkins does have a little bit more safety.
Yeah, I feel like Hopkins has a little bit more almost upside here, but
it's not really, but kind of. Like
I don't know. Full
target, 10 catches a day.
Yeah, I don't know how to word it because Debo is just like an upside king. So it's like, but yeah, I think we're just kind of playing it safe with Debo and his name, and that's who he is. Well, who we think he is.
I think I'm going to go Debo in that big game tonight. I mean, Hopkins, at the end of the day, what's his season high on points? Half PPR 10.
And also, I'm not really worried about the matchup with Dallas. Don't take anything from the Patriots last week.
No.
With Diggs out, they're probably a different secondary. So.
I think the Niners could pace like 35 points tonight, easy. I'm going to stick with Debo. There's a lot of good talking points in there, Nicola, but I'm going to stick Debo.
Sebastian Alex, Josh Dobbs, or Zach Wilson?
You got to go Dobbs. Need upside. I know that Zach Wilson. I guess I can see why Sebastian's crafting this narrative. You got Zach Wilson looking the best he's ever looked, and I won't take that away from the kid. He did look actually really good on Sunday night. Some of those throws he was making were timing based and trusting the receiver to make the back shoulder play. I came away very encouraged by that one game. It's one game. We have seen him look like the worst player that's ever played in the last 10 years type of bad. So he gets the Broncos today. I also can see why that'd be part of the narrative. The worst defense in the league. So the need upside, like piece of it, probably has you thinking Zach Wilson. I feel like Dobbs has been. I gotta go Dobbs because he has upside. 48 rushing yards in 3 straight games, 48 or more. The carries continue to go up, 3, then 6, then 12. And he's playing well. He should have had 3 touchdowns last week if his receivers didn't drop 2 in a row in the end zone. I love this Dobbs kid, honestly. I think he's really balling out. Like, he's making the best of a bad situation. I hope he's definitely one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league. Like, he should walk away with this. Even if they go back to Kyler Murray, I think he should be starting somewhere within a year or two. Like, I don't know. What do you think, CJ? I've been very impressed with Dobbs.
Yeah, he's ruining my dynasty tanking right now. he's doing for me what he's doing to the Cardinals. He's like making them competitive in every game.
I know.
He looks really good though. He's like a legit dual threat. He's like turning these players like really fantasy relevant. We thought the Cardinals would just be a wasteland this year, and they're actually like really competitive. They're like the perfect tanking team because they're fun to watch. They're like producing fantasy scores, but they're also losing. So that's like perfect for everyone.
Yeah, and Kyler can come in and it could get even a little more juice, but Dobbs is really providing. And I will say for the record, I was not off the Cardinals completely. I liked Marquise Brown and James Conner all preseason. I had like 30% or higher on draft on an underdog with both guys, and they've really impressed. I got worried once Kyler became like, is he even going to play this year? And I feel so much better because even if Kyler doesn't step on the field, we know Dobbs can keep these guys afloat. He's looked really, really solid. Pro's pro. He's got, I love that clip of him like going to buy his jersey and it's not even in the pro shop. Like he just seems like a good dude you want to root for. I like Josh Dobbs a lot. And he's got 24 points or more in 2 of his last 3 games. So he's got the upside. He's got a higher floor than Zach Wilson. The Bengals defense is not good. I really like Josh Dobbs. I am a big fan of him, Sebastian. So that's where I roll.
Campanelli, start Debo or Dobbs, a receiver 2. What do you think?
I like I'm saying, I mean, obviously if it's decoy Debo, it's going to be the worst play that you can make. But all the reports were saying healthier, better, looking like he's full go. I think he's even off the injury report now, right? Like I think he's good to go. I don't even think he came into the game with any designation at this point. So I'm going Debo. I cannot bench Debo in a primetime matchup like that. I think he's going to feast. Are we getting anything in the Bills-Jags game? I just traded for Josh Allen, and this has not been the way I want to start.
Honestly, I don't have that on TV.
I'll check my fantasy score, see if he's got anything more.
No, it's 11. It's 11-7, Jaguars.
Oh, and how much time is left in this garbage?
6 minutes in the third.
In the third. Okay, so there's still a little time. Okay.
Josh Allen has a touchdown pass to Diggs, and then 3 carries for 11 yards. He's their leading rusher. So
yeah. All righty, Tunes. What do we got?
I have Lamb, Dubs, Addison at receiver, Dell and JT in the flex. Would you switch out any for Jerry Jeudy?
I don't think so. I think the closest one for me would be Addison, just because he disappeared. But against the Chiefs, a game like that, give me the firepower. Let's see what happens. They're going to need to start leaning on this kid more because he's a playmaker, and I think that it's showing that the fact that they keep forcing KJ Osborne. Sure, he earned it early on. He's a good blocker. I get it. I respect blocking. I do. I was an ex-lineman, but I'm a fantasy nut too. And Addison is a monster. Like, get him on the field. Get him on the field. Your team is better with Jordan Addison over KJ.
I just saw a Matt Harmon video earlier about JSN and how pathetic he's been in that offense. I guess they've been playing.
There's nothing worse than that, right?
They've been playing Jake Bobo over him, who ran a 4.99 40 because he's a good blocker because they lost their 2 starting tackles. So they're not even playing this.
At the end of the day, it's working for them. Like the results are there for the Seahawks.
Yeah,
they're not there for the Vikings. And when you get down, I did see one encouraging stat about Addison was essentially when they throw, he's been like a 90% snap player. JSN, I don't know what's happening there. I actually am. I'm seeing him get dropped in a lot of leagues. He's still got to stash the kid. He is so talented. He was getting tons of praise in training camp, like deep. You see all the highlights. He wasn't being used in this low A.dot role. Now, I never was drafting Addison this year at his price. He was going around 6, 7 in best ball and around 9. I wasn't drafting him there. But at this point, people were asking, like, who's a sneaky stash that could blow up at the middle of the year? Once those tackles get healthy, maybe they do start to go to more 3 receiver sets. So that's an interesting point there, CJ. And even if not, if anything ever did happen to a Metcalf or Lockett, and Lockett has had this soft issues in the past, JSN could be a monster. Like he is that talented. He outproduced Olave and Garrett Wilson when they were all on the same team together. He's that guy. And it's so asinine and frustrating to watch him wither and not play any 3, in lowest A.dot in the league for a guy that's a speedster that can get it done. It's frustrating, but he's definitely a stash. I know this is a random rant. It has nothing to do with this, but I'm seeing him get dropped. He's like 20% dropped this week. I think a lot of people are just fed up and frustrated, and understandably so, but he's not a type of pick you were drafting that you needed to use right now. He's a stash, and there's very few players with that type of upside as stash. So I'm a big fan of JSN. Tunes, back to your question. I do not play Judy over any of these guys. What about you, CJ?
No, next question. Tunes, Tua or Cousins? I'm leaning Tua.
I'd lean Tua as well. But I did get the stat about Addison. When they do throw, he does play about 90% of the routes. So they're going to, and you got to think they're going to be throwing it all day against the Chiefs today. So, yeah. And I go Tua over Cousins. I mean, that matchup against the Giants, come on. Full strength with a waddle back. Like, yeah, you got to light Tua.
They're my survivor this week.
Yeah.
Tunes, Musgrave or Ertz?
This is one where it would help to know if it's full PPR because as gross as Ertz is, like, he's getting 6 catches for 30 yards. And it's so bad. And why is this on an NFL field type of bad? But it's there and it's getting used. Ertz is an it now. I love the guy. He's been my tight end. I had him for years and years in fantasy.
Oh my God, he was like my tight end for like 5 years in a row.
And I loved it. And I love that. You know what? I know I'm kind of hating, but like, it's awesome to see a guy. What's he at 36 right now? He's old. I think he's older than me. He's out there. I'm sitting here like judging for my like fantasy podcast.
Coming off a torn ACL too.
But I love Ertz. I think he's safe. Like I love just like he's still going. 6 catches in 3 of his 4 games. As long as it's PPR or half PPR, you got to go that. Musgrave does have some nice upside. The Raiders, I talk about this the truth. Most points above expectations allowed to the tight ends are the Raiders. They're giving up, I think it's 170% of your total. Like you do pretty much 2 extra your total every time you face the Raiders. So he's in a good spot. So the ceiling is with Musgrave. But Ertz as a whole, he's going to get you 7 to 9 points. And in one of these weeks, he probably will fall into the end zone too. So I think Ertz is the play there. What about you?
Yeah, let's just keep rolling with this Cardinals offense.
Yeah, honestly, as crazy as that is, let it rip.
Tunes again. Love or Danny Penny because he can't carry the Dimes name.
I respect the bump demoting him to Danny Penny's. Just like we downgraded Stepdaddy Davis to Stepdaddy last year. Danny Penny. I think that's what we're going to refer to him from now on. I go Jordan Love. There's no way I'm trusting Pennies this week. Danny Penny does not belong in starting lineups until otherwise. Like, I don't know if Andrew Thomas is back. It is going to be big to get his left tackle back because that line is just so bad. They're playing like a second-string guard at left tackle right now. But he still is also bad himself. He's not reading the field well. It might have been you, CJ. Somebody sent me that tweet about, like, how he just locked into one half of the field, not doing his reads. Like, all the stuff that he started to actually do well at the end of last year has completely evaporated, and he's back to, like, awful habits Daniel Dimes for whatever reason.
I love that clip of Dayball just, like, throwing that.
Just so frustrated. Throw that. So I go Jordan Love there. Absolutely.
Like when they were in the end zone and he threw that pick last week, Waller was wide open, and he just completely just doesn't look at it.
Yeah. Like, I have hope at some point it could get at least somewhat back on the tracks. But until we see any signs of that, I will not. No. No Daniel Pennies. No.
Kristen, man, happy Sunday. So hold Javonte for Monday Night Football or flex him out with a running back with Pacheco or Mostert already playing Breece Hall at running back now.
I think you got to hold Javonte out. He's going to play. Now, this is different than the other one because you do have really good options, like as backups. I love Pacheco today. Mostert, I'm a little bit worried about. Achane has taken that backfield over, it looks like. That's going to be a fun one to watch. That's a good story today is how does that play out between Mostert and Achane? Like, does it continue 65% of the snaps for Achane last time? Mostert could just evaporate at a certain point. Do you have Achane in any of your big leagues, CJ? I know we're getting a little off tangents today. I'm a little distracted with the game on too, but
no,
Achane's fascinating.
I know he is. I have him in Dynasty in our league, but no, that's it. Where is it? Where is it?
You gotta feel good about that. You have Bijan and Achane, right? Those guys. Your team's going to be relevant soon. You're doing it the productive struggle the right way. I think I go Devontae Adams, though. It looks like he's going to play. Unless we get any other word that he's not, you go Devontae Adams. And honestly, I'd go Pacheco over Mostert. I'm just going to make sure my rankings reflect the Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah. I think Adams is fine. Matthew
Adams is fine.
Matthew Noto, saw your tweet about Kyron. I was thinking of benching him for Aaron Jones all week.
No. Don't do it. I mean, Aaron Jones, if it's Aaron Jones and there's no limitations, yeah, I could probably see that. We've all seen it before. I benched Aaron Jones one Monday night in a championship game against the Vikings. I think it was far less justifiable than Mike Boone.
Was it Mike Boone?
It was a third place game, so I ultimately was just kind of trying to be funny. Was not a good joke. Aaron Jones had 40 points, and I have a very hard time benching him from now on.
Was it Mike Boone? We literally wrote articles, clips, everything, and Mike Boone had 6 points, and maybe.
Yeah, it was Mike Boone, and then the next it was 100% Mike Boone, and then the next week he had 25. He had 30 points the next week. It was the ultimate troll.
Literally lost people fantasy leagues because
bad,
including my own.
That Shanahan run scheme, baby. No, but we gotta answer the question for Noto. We're just telling stories instead of answering his question.
Yeah, we said no.
I'm trying to build that context up of Aaron Jones. But Kyron Williams at the top of the show, you probably heard it too, since you were already here early. But anybody else asking about him, more snaps and touches and routes than any running back. The only one even close is Christian McCaffrey. The only reason that he's not putting up Christian McCaffrey numbers is he's not Christian McCaffrey. Nobody is. Kyron's a monster. Even in these tough matchups against good D lines, what you've got to love about a back like this is he's just used in every single facet. He's going to get 5 catches, even with the other guys back. It's like Gurley's role when Gurley was the ultimate league winner in fantasy. And people mentioned him. I think I get it. It's a scary D line. No Fletcher Cox. It helps out. I'm not benching Kyron. There's no way. So, yeah. And Aaron Jones, as good as he can be in that prime time that we were talking about that story for, the questionable hamstring, the risk of a snap count, there's a lot more red tags to him than I think Kyron Williams, who feels like one of the safest plays in fantasy right now. So, do what you need to, but yeah. All right, I'll sift through these. I made a couple bad comments. Because I tried to call in the stream link that I was texting somebody about McLaughlin playing him and how I got the injury thing wrong.
I'm just seeing that now.
Yeah, that's what I texted you. I commented the wrong thing and I can't delete it from the platform. Good to see you, Wolf.
You just hit the 3 dots to delete.
Yeah, but then doesn't it ban us? And I was like, I don't want to ban myself from my own channel, so. If you can figure out how to delete it, go for it. Yeah, I'll rip through a couple of questions while you're doing that. Good to see you, Wolf. Happy Sunday. Buffalo has been looking like garbage, and it sucks. Nico Collins or Devonta Smith? Crazy that's a question because Nico has been that good. It's worth questioning. Wide receiver 4, I think, in fantasy right now is Nico Collins. Just incredible. Michigan boy. Go blue, baby. I think Devonta is still the play here. I think that game is going to be a fun shootout. I'm really looking forward to that one. And Devonta, it kind of feels like A.J. Brown just had his 30-point day, and he's obviously very, very viable too. But I feel like this is a matchup, like a more of a dink and dunk type of zone scheme that we just see Devonta Smith shred. So I love Smith today. I love Nico. It's so hard to bench him, but I'm going Devonta Smith there. What about you?
Yeah, that is tough. I'm gonna.
Isn't that crazy how tough that is?
I kind of want to say
Nico's made it so hard.
I kind of want to say Nico. We'll be safer, I guess, and go Devonta, but I do like Nico a lot.
Yeah, I do too. All righty. This is the guy who had Fields and Moore on the bench. That's a tough thing to wake up to and see 80 combined points on your bench. Sorry, Bearded. And if you asked us on Thursday, I probably didn't push you. I like DJ Moore a lot on Thursday. I probably wouldn't have said DJ Moore over Nico Collins or Devonta Smith, though. So there's a good chance you might have asked that, and I didn't get it right. I feel like DJ Moore moving forward has got to be in every week, no matter what. Yeah. All right, Denny Jennings, a legend. What do we got?
He's probably hungover as hell after that Phillies win last night. They beat the Braves.
Yeah.
Good morning. Sit one of these. JT, Jaleel McLaughlin, or Aaron Jones. Happy to go.
I would sit. I think Jaleel. As much as I'm intrigued by him, unless we get news of Javonte being completely out, or do you sit JT here with the pitch count? Like, I don't know. What do you think, CJ, of these three? This is actually, I think Jaleel feels like the easy knee-jerk bench, but I don't know. Part of me was more intrigued by him.
I don't want to sit JT. He's too healthy, it seems, and he's just ready to go. I can't have him on my bench. I'm sitting Jaleel.
Yeah, I guess just say Jaleel. He's certainly the more unknown as a player. And usually betting on the talent wins out there. So yeah, we'll go bench Jaleel. But the fact that there's a question tells you guys all how much I like him.
Sarah Riley start Puka or Ayuk?
Oh man. How can we not get them both in? Can you? Oh, she started Brian Robinson, but is there Mixon? Is there a way we can get Mixon out for both these guys? So I would start both of them over Mixon. If we can't do that, and you have to have
D-Rob is in the flex, which never flex on Thursday night.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe Mixon's a potential flex. We could do that. Of these, I think I'm going to go Puka. I'm still fully aboard. Puka's going to be a fringe wide receiver 1. Kupp might be in a snap count this first week back at least. I'm going Puka over Ayuk, and I love Ayuk. I mean, I really, really do. I think I have these guys 8 and 9 or something of that nature. What about you, CJ? I have Puka fever because I have him in all my leagues, so I might be biased, but as someone who owns him, I would never put him on my bench until I really see something suggest I need
Ayuk
to.
has been I'm staying with Ayuk. That's going to be such a good game tonight. I want a piece of it. I think I'm going Ayuk there.
Good luck, Sarah. So we're split on that one. I have Nakua 8, Ayuk 11, all around Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith. I mean, really tough call. I go Nakua. I'm really excited to see what he does.
We have a super chat down at the bottom from Anthony Fella. Thank you for the 2.
Thank you, Anthony Fella. Much appreciated, brother.
JT, Mike Thomas, or Addison. Pick one. Gotta go Taylor here.
Full PPR though, and bad matchup. What about Addison today against the Chiefs and maybe shootout?
I love Addison, but I'm going Taylor.
Yeah, you're such an Addison guy. I don't know. I think if it wasn't the Titans' run D, I could see Taylor getting his feet wet. 12 carries, 55 yards. Maybe he gets in the end zone and boom. Okay, it's a good day. Maybe he doesn't get in the end zone. Maybe Richardson vultures all the touchdowns. And Addison has a 5-catch, 120-yard coming out party. I'm going Addison. I feel okay about that. I don't know though. It's Jonathan Taylor. That's tough.
I'm starting Jonathan Taylor. You've been waiting 4 weeks. Slow him up.
Yeah. In the fantasy locker room aspect of it, when Taylor comes back to your locker room, the definition of a stud, and you don't put him in. I get it. You might lose the boys. You lose the fantasy locker room.
He just got paid.
Yeah, you know what? Go Taylor. You're right. I'm probably overthinking. I'm overthinking that one. I understand. Yeah, go Taylor. But man, I do like Addison a lot today. I'm bumping him up in my rankings as I realize how much I actually like Addison.
Denny again. Sit one of these quarterbacks. Purdy, Stafford, Dobbs.
Purdy, Stafford, Dobbs. I would sit Dobbs, and I love Dobbs. We talked about it, but I love Purdy and Stafford even more.
Stafford with Kupp back.
Yeah, he's been just slinging it. Like Stafford looks really good. He hasn't been dominating fantasy because I think he only has like 2 or 3 touchdowns on the year so far. Those will come. I think positive regression, absolutely. You get Cooper Kupp back in there, and just it's more so Kyron's been so good at the strike. But yeah, I'm all in on Stafford today. He's my DFS guy, and I love Purdy. You can't bench Purdy. 2 touchdowns or more in every start but one. I'm in. I love Dobbs, but yeah, it's those 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bearded RN, Dobbs, Adams, Myers. Adams is good, but we're sticking with
Adams. Adams, absolutely.
Jack, full PPR, Olive, Olave, Dobbs, or Laporta in the flex.
Who's your tight end? It's got to be Kittle or Kelsey. And honestly, if that's the case, I think I like Laporta over these other options. Even over Olave, which might make you want to puke. I am so in on Laporta having a huge day today, though. I like gut call. I like Laporta more.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Over Olave, you side with me on that?
Double tights is so sketchy. But,
yeah, let us know, Jack, who the other tight end is. Because there's not a ton of tight ends I'd put Olave below, but Laporta, that just goes to tell you how highly I think of him this week.
Yeah, I'm fading this Saints offense outside of Kamara right now.
Yeah.
RN, Debo, Wilson, or Hollywood?
Debo and Hollywood's really close. And I love Michael Wilson as a staff, but he's not in that conversation with these guys. I'm going to go Debo.
Yeah, we can't. We're going with Debo today. Giuseppe Russo. Musgrave or Pitts, happy beer.
Never Pitts. Whoever else. My great aunt Gertrude playing tight end over
he's
him.
Now he's now the TE2 on his own team.
No, Musgrave. You got to go Musgrave.
Campanelli, Superflex, Dimes, Wilson, Tannehill, Carr. Jesus.
You have to drop Danny. I think at that point, Danny's probably worth keeping. I mean, if Zach Wilson, maybe in a nutshell, I actually would rather have this week, but long term, I still have zero faith in Zach Wilson. Whereas I have more faith in Brian Daboll. I don't know that I feel great about Daniel Jones himself. He looks like the worst version of himself right now. I don't have faith in Darren Waller. I think he doesn't look great. I have zero faith in the line. But I have faith in Daboll. And I don't know if it's enough to overcome all of that, but none of these other guys long term, it's just like, ew. I'd rather just have Danny Dimes and hope that this somehow gets corrected because he was a monster. At least he's getting the leg stuff still.
Yep.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah. Clay, Dubs, Tank Dell, Mike Wilson.
Tank Dell. I'm putting up in the rankings. I have him below Dobbs in my rankings. I gotta bump him up. I'm back in on the Tank Dell train, baby.
You really are. Mike Clay again, Waddle, IU, Hollywood. So one of these.
Would you go Dobbs over Tank Dell? You probably would, right?
I would go Dobbs over Dell.
Yeah, Dobbs is safer, the target share, but I like Tank Dell. I gotta go. I gotta sit Hollywood here. No, I know Waddle's been disappointing, but this just has the feels of a Waddle blow up. I'm not benching him, and Ayuk's my number 1 here.
I know. I've been waiting for that too. It's the first time having Waddle, and I've not been happy with it.
I know. Yeah, this is your first time on the Waddle Express. It's not pretty. Yeah. It's been all kind of a bad luck factors. I think this is a good coming out party for him.
Giuseppe, do I roll the dice and hope Aaron Jones plays, or start McLaughlin or Zach Moss? Would you drop Zach Moss?
No, because there is some handcuff value there. I would probably just wait for Aaron Jones. Honestly, Zach Moss, no. So what we can say with this one, Giuseppe, is if Javonte is ruled out, and you have till 4 to figure that out. If he's ruled out, I might just go McLaughlin and play it safe. Unless we get news that Aaron Jones is trending the right way, like 9 out of 10 times this is Aaron Jones, I would say. But if everything's ruled out and Aaron Jones is still feeling a little sketchy, I could see going McLaughlin at the 4 p.m. games. But we need some more information on both his situation and also Aaron Jones if I'm going to confidently ever suggest benching Aaron Jones for McLaughlin.
Yeah, worded that pretty well. Mike Clay, I have McLaughlin in right now. If Javonte goes, why should I flex? Who should I flex? Why should I flex?
So if Javonte goes of the 2 running backs, I would go McLaughlin, and I don't think I'd go to Marvin Mims quite yet. Even though he keeps getting it kind of done on the one big play he hits, that's a bigger risk of a zero. I like McLaughlin. I really like this kid, so I would go him.
Yeah,
hey, Canadian Thanksgiving. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all that celebrate that are here with us. Sounds like you might ride Fitzpatrick.
I don't even where would their Thanksgiving be from? France, I think. I don't know. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Canadian Thanksgiving, boys. I have one question today. I need to sit one of Kyron, Connor, Montgomery, Madison. Madison for me there.
So sitting one, yeah, Madison's definitely the least intriguing of all those guys. Yep. Let us know, Brian. What's the Canadian Thanksgiving feature? Is it a turkey just like ours, or is it a big fat slab of poutine? Because I love Canadian poutine is the best stuff in the world.
I've still never been to Canada. I wish I could.
Speaking of favorite things in the world, Seamus J. Timberlake. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, boys. Hey, happy Sunday to you both.
The best. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you too, Seamus. Thanks for popping by.
Mini Jordan 718. Good morning. In a full PPR, choose 3 of these: Kamara, Kyron, Achan, Mixon, and then choose a receiver: Dubs or Watson. That's going to be frustrating all year.
That's why I traded Dobbs, honestly, because I had to deal with that. I would go Watson. I have to go Watson. This too high of a ceiling. And for the running backs there, I'm going Achan, Kyron, and Mixon, I think, is how I go that. I'll tell you, every time I look at my running backs, I bump Achan up a little bit more. This happened last week on the stream. I mean, you were talking, and I ended up getting them to running back 17. And at the time, that was 9 spots above the ECR. And I just keep, every time I look, I'm I'd rather have Achan than Derrick Henry right now. I just keep moving him up, and I feel psycho for
your volume, your sound just dropped. Uh-oh.
Is it unmuted now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, cool. I was asking right before I went down, who would you rather have, Kyron or Achan in today?
I kind of like the first 3. Kamara, if they're just going to check down to Kamara 100 times, I don't care if he gets 33 yards. 13, you're going to get 6.5, 7 points for receptions.
I'm going Kyron and Achan are definitely picks here. I'm going Mixon myself over Kamara. I was just saying, if you had to come down to those first two, Achan versus Kyron, I feel like I'm just kind of making my ranking update here.
Oh.
I think I'm going to do Achan up to running back 6 right now. He's such a stud, and he's facing the Giants.
Really, I know. Yeah, let's go, Achan. Let's roll with it today. I'm gonna throw his overs in today too. We'll do 2 touchdowns, maybe 100 yards on the ground. We'll get crazy with it.
Love it. Alrighty.
And then Dubs or Watson?
I said Watson for that one. Yeah.
Richard B. dealing with a bunch of buys and injuries, so I must start 2 of these 4 at the flex. Shaheed, Rice, Mims, maybe Javonte Williams.
2 of these 4. I think
Mims and Rice from there.
I kind of like Shaheed too, though. Shaheed can get deep.
Yeah, I covered him in my sleepers. Patriots are just a disaster in the secondary right now.
They are, and he had 7 targets. I think the team high last week. Shaheed. So it's not even just the big plays you're reliant on. I kind of like Rice and Shaheed here until we get a little bit more out of Marvin Mims' playing time. He'll be your guy eventually, Richard B. But I think this week I'm going Rice and Shaheed.
Yeah,
we do have a super chat.
We do have a super chat.
Hey, we do. Our boy Chillard.
Oh, sorry about that.
Another one from the bearded RN we missed, so we'll have to go back to that in a sec.
Chillard needs some thoughts on the Patriots. I thought Devontae Parker was going to flirt with 2. Was going to flirt with
an $8 super chat to hear a bit our thoughts on Devontae Parker.
I mean,
one, thank you for the support, Chillard. It's so appreciative. Do you have any other questions we can also answer? Because come on, this is what you want. Hey, I'll talk through what I see so far. Is early on those first couple games, thought we had some good glimpses on offense. It just seemed more functional. Things were looking impressive. And there have been a few throws from Mac Jones this year that I have been that's a franchise QB throw. And then there have been far more moments and much more recently too, these last couple games, where it is far more outweighed by the boneheaded decisions, the lack of care in a way, both with the football, but then also when he's on the sidelines, like laughing after he's thrown his 4th pick for the day. I don't know. I just don't like him, honestly. I just think he's kind of a tool. He doesn't seem like the guy. The people don't seem to want to rally around him. I don't think Zappy's the guy either. So you got to see what you have in Mac the rest of the year. Unless you want to turn it over to like Malik Cunningham. I'd love to see us tank and get a Caleb Williams. I know that will never happen for the Pats, but I want them to burn this kind of thing down right now. They have a good defense when they're all healthy, but right now, no Judon, no Christian Gonzalez. I can see our defense becoming a pretty big trash heap. And so at that point, I'd rather see us lose. I
don't mind Mac. I'm weirdly still a Mac guy. That last week was horrible, but I mean, every quarterback has that horrific game, and that was his. But I'm not like, oh, this guy's gonna like go win Super Bowls for us. But I don't. It's just like he's not meant for this like 2023, and especially in a division that has like Tua, Josh Allen, and whatever the Jet situation is. But I don't know. I mean, why were you thinking Devontae Parker was ever going to go for 1,200 yards? That's the better question.
That was pretty absurd. So that kind of leads me to my next point with Mac Jones and the Pats. And this is as our viewers drop. Right? $8 super chat, so you get your money's worth. The other thing is they haven't surrounded him with the appropriate weaponry. Why we get DeAndre Hopkins, for example? Like, is he stud? No, but he's definitely better than Devontae Parker. He could have maybe flirted with 1,207, not Devontae Parker.
What also drives me crazy about what you're saying is that they finally have a rookie deal with a quarterback. We've been like waiting like 20 years for this, and then they go out and they just sign a bunch of like safety linebacker tweeners when their line absolutely blows. Like, why wouldn't you help them with the line? It doesn't make any sense. And then the pass catchers are horrible. They added like Mike Gesicki and like Juju with like one knee, and it's for the same money that Jacoby Myers was. Like, exactly.
Why not keep the guy he's already comfortable with, that's already thrived in your system that you handpicked? I don't get that Juju and Jacoby Myers. That blows my mind and makes me sick. I think that was horrible. So I think personnel is the biggest issue, Chillard, is he doesn't have a lot of people around him. I think ultimately, though, I've seen enough. I don't think Mac's going to be the guy. I don't think he's going to be the guy for any franchise. Devontae is not a player, Chillard. None of these guys are players. And you're pumping up freaking Devontae Parker, and then you're going to hate on Hopkins. Come on. But I do think to like play calling, honestly, I've been pretty encouraged by Bill O'Brien overall. The offense has, for more stretches early in the season, looked more competent, like they can actually move. But I don't think they have enough around Mac Jones. I don't think Mac Jones is the guy anyways. And similar to what you're saying, CJ, especially at the line, like, why are you not signing, La'el Collins at the school? He's not even great, but he's sitting there. He's something that's better than whatever we have. Why didn't they go after the Chiefs guy? You have the rookie deal, which is what franchises covet. What it tells me is they just don't think this guy's the guy. But if that's the case, then you have to tank. And
but then Belichick is too much of like a hardo and like will never tank, and he's gonna like beat up on like the middling quarterbacks this year and win like 7 games, and it's just like they're in purgatory for life. We're fucked.
And for the last part of that super chat, I don't think it gets fixed this year. Just because I don't think it gets fixed until we have the quarterback, and I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. Even if we surrounded him with talent, I don't think it would have worked out, but it would have given him a fairer shot too. So we'll see. Hey, maybe I'm dead wrong. They come out flying today. But I am worried. I'm very worried about this Patriots team.
And I just bet the under of 39.5.
Okay, tells me everything you need to know about this game. All righty. We left off. Oh, we had the bearded RN with a super chat. Who's probably just sitting here like, can you please stop talking about the Patriots and just answer my damn question? Sorry about that, bearded.
That was a great like 98.5 moment we just had.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 2. Dubs, Boyd, Dell, pick one.
I like Dell. I think PPR wise, Dobbs does gain a little bit of floor with those 12 and 13 targets. I understand why that'd be real hard to bench. Not Boyd for me. I don't want any piece of that passing game if it's not Ja'Marr Chase. I just love Dell. I really think Dell every single week that 152 touchdown upside. That Dobbs will have that nice like 7 catch 70-yard floor, and there's a place for that. And honestly, if that's what you need in full PPR, 14, Dobbs is really good. Dell can wreck games, and and get you that leap up of like 20-something points, So I don't know. I'm going down. I said it a few times today. You still like dogs more than Dell, CJ?
I do.
Yeah. We're split on it, bearded our end. So Boyd's the only one we would eliminate from that combo. I think Dobbs floor, Dell's ceiling, but I like Dell. I always chase the ceiling, baby. So sweet. Well, thank you so much, Beard. I think it's your second super chat of the day. So really, really appreciate you guys coming in, supporting your guys. It really does make it so much more worth it, when you guys are willing to do that. We love it anyways, but it really does.
Senor Medina. Buenos dias, amigos. PPR, Flex, Addison.
Happy Sunday. Please Domingo. I like how that rolls.
PPR, Flex, Addison, or Jalen Warren? Grasses.
Addison, yeah. I don't. The Steelers' running game will only matter if one of them gets eliminated. The only reason it's been so good is
I'm starting Warren today, unfortunately.
I'm starting Drew Hubbard where I lost Saquon, so I can't groan too much at you. But I go Addison if I have that choice. Yeah.
Oh.
What do we got? Waddle, Olave,
and Puka. Badly. Yeah, you go for a second.
I got Puka and Waddle there for sure. Olave, I had below those guys anyways, but with the weird little ankle scare, something to just consider even further. But I go Puka and Waddle there. I sat Ridley today. Please pick. Is Ridley going off? I haven't really been watching this game.
No, he has a concussion, I think.
He has a touchdown?
No, concussion.
Oh, Ridley. Oh, well, good bench there, Jeff Lee. Please pick 3. Jamison, Jordan Addison, Michael Wilson, George Pickens, Zay Flowers. I would definitely go Jeff Lee, Zay Flowers first. I would go – now it starts
Ridley has 90. He was getting evaluated for a concussion, but he does have 90. Not bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, why would you sit Ridley for these guys? I mean, Ridley was definitely ahead of at least 8 of these 9 options, Jeff. But, hey, live and learn. Calvin Ridley, you got it with side of the talent here. For the ones we have left, Jeff, sorry, I got to go back into that now. Zay Flowers, I think you got to keep signing with talent, and that ends up being Addison and George Pickens here. I do really like Michael Wilson, though. Is Wilson versus Addison? That's tricky. I don't know. Flowers is the really only clear-cut one for me. If you gave me Jamison Williams a full-time role, he'd get even more love from me, but that's not happening. I'm gonna go Flowers, Pickens, Addison. What about you? Are you still doing your thing, CJ?
Let's go Flowers, Addison, and I'm with you, Pickens. Those are all like weird, intriguing young receivers. But
I know. I really like Michael Wilson, but I would kind of like to see it again if I have good enough options to see it.
I feel like J-Mo's just going to be like Will Fuller, where it's going to be like 28 or like 0.
Yeah, I can definitely see that type of career arc. Hopefully it just stays in the field a little longer. Jason
H2O. Big water guy over there. Kyren Williams or Brees? Are you buying the Brees buzz this week?
I'm very much aboard that Brees train. Training wheels are off. Facing the Broncos, I love it. I think Brees is a great play this week. It's more so my love in Kyren and what he's been doing all year versus Brees, theoretically a higher ceiling against that Broncos defense, but I love Kyren. I'm in love. I don't want to bench him. So I'm going Kyren.
I'm with you, but I do love Brees now.
I'm very excited to see what Brees does, yeah.
Mike Smith, who do you start at the flex? Full PPR, Devonta, Pierce, Hopkins, Devonta for me.
I would do Devonta easily there. Yeah, Mike, absolutely Devonta.
Hopkins scares me too. Well, in a good one. Jeff Lee, need 2 spicy running backs. Pierce, Madison, disgusting running backs. Pierce, Madison, Warren, Spears.
I go Madison and Pierce here. They're at least starting running backs, and they're getting the majority of the work, and they're in good offenses. So they all have outs every single week. So I get a little spicy with Madison and Pierce.
The least spicy running backs in the world. Russo, better stream Reynolds or Raymond? I'm going Reynolds myself.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds for sure.
Definitely. Last question: start a quarterback, Richardson or Jalen Hurts?
It's got to be Jalen Hurts, but that's how good Richardson has been. Like that, you're even questioning this. Richardson's a stud. I'm in love with Anthony Richardson, but Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. He's the number 1 quarterback.
I would try to trade Anthony Richardson and feed me.
Yeah, see if you can move it. Or honestly, if you could get like a haul for Jalen Hurts, I'd be okay moving forward with just Anthony Richardson too.
We've talked about this a few times, but with St. Brown not playing, which of the Lions receivers would you be targeting?
Full
no,
PPR,
Josh
I'd go
Downs.
for Leaf, and half or standard Jameson. Just go for the big plays.
I don't know if he meant Josh Reynolds, but maybe Downs, I guess.
No, Josh Downs is like a streamer some people are talking about.
Krana Shah. Hey, guys. Favorite kind of pie? Honestly, I hate pie. It's awful. It's
I don't eat a ton of pie. I do love key lime pie. I think that's a great choice too, Krana. So I'm with you there. I love key lime, and seasonally, I do love like a slice of pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving, but I won't eat it other than that one day. It's very satisfying on that day.
I don't think I've ever had pumpkin. I don't think I've ever had pumpkin pie.
You never had key lime pie?
No, I don't think I've had that either. Pie is just for like old people.
You gotta live a little, man. Jeez. You never had either of those pies?
I don't know if try.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
we have a lot of learning to do. You gotta get educated on your pie. I was
gonna say something, but we'll keep it PG over
here.
Yeah. Krana Shah, Gibbs, PPR replacement. Elliott, CEH, Spears. It sucks. Yes, it does.
It sucks is 100% right there. I would go with Spears. Honestly, when you're rolling around this kind of mud, you just go for the guy that, I guess in a 1 week narrative, yeah, if something happened to Henry, he could be by far the highest upside guy. But there is the chance that something happens to him. In long term, now you have a Spears handcuff that I think should just be rostered. The other two are just maybe could outscore him any given week, but they all suck. So go for the one that actually could evolve into something better. Those other two, there's no real path to upside unless Ramondre went down, and even then Zeke probably wouldn't be great.
Yeah, that's tough. Although I don't know. I'll just let you take that one. I have no comment on that.
Right, you like Zeke? You can hype up your boy.
But I don't really. I don't know. We'll just roll with what you said. We don't need to split on it. Jake Lana, who are you playing over Debo? Well, I think like 23 receivers.
I think I'm at wide receiver 16, so 15 guys. You can find those rankings at RotoStreetJournal.com. But if you have someone specific you're wondering about, let us know.
Krana Shah, pick 2, Pierce, Addison, Flowers, Warren.
I would go
Flowers, Pierce.
Yeah. Flowers, Pierce.
Pick 1, Goddard, Jameson, Rice, Boyd, Wando.
I like Rice. I do really like Rashee Rice today.
I'd go Goddard, though.
Goddard's been trashed. Oh, no way. No way.
Krana Shah, Ken Walker and Bauer replacing PPR, Pirine, Dalvin,
Chuba. Like, Dalvin's toast at this point. I think Breece Hall completely takes over. Pirine couldn't even get more snaps than Jaleel McLaughlin, the undrafted free agent, who I love. I'd rather have McLaughlin than any of these, but I'd go Chuba this garbage. I'm starting Chuba myself, Krana, so now we can root for them together.
Jake Lana, Debo, Rice, Sutton.
I'd go Debo easily there. Yeah. Oh, so this might be what he was asking about with like start over Debo. Yeah, I would definitely go Debo over those guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Steve Hernandez, good morning, PPR Flex. Nico, Swift, or Mostert?
Ooh, good options. It comes down to Swift or Collins for me. How do you bench Collins? Swift has been great too, but I got to go Nico, I think, here.
Yeah, Swift is very intriguing.
It's tough. Swift is certainly the better bet to just get you like 12 to 15 no matter what happens. Collins, though, like 30-point ceiling and only really one dud on the year. I just think that upside is too great to mention at this point.
Bronte, Burrow, or Dobbs?
Dobbs. I definitely would actually go Dobbs over Burrow. It seems like a joke, and I'm not. I think Dobbs I would definitely feel more comfortable with until we see Burrow get healthy. And for whatever reason, I'm not resting.
There was a tweet today that said it may be weeks, I think, until he's healthy. So he may just never be healthy this entire season.
Yeah, serious.
They should have listened to Jahmyr Chase when they said to hold him out through week 5.
I know, right?
I know, everyone's like, oh, that's stupid, but it was actually really smart. Tunes, Burrow, yep, here we go. Burrow's not even close enough. Read in my mind. Jeff Lee, one last question. Should I drop Jalen Warren or Pickens or Spears for Keaton?
No,
it's a little too aggressive.
No, Spears is a little bit more like if Keaton Mitchell evolves into what we have Spears doing right now, then that's what we want. No, I wouldn't drop any of those guys for Mitchell.
Wes Snipes. Good morning, fellas. PPR Garrett Wilson or Debo? And then sit one of these running backs. Jacobs, Mixon, Kyron, Mostert for me to sit there.
Yeah, I'm sitting Mostert there, and I'm going to go Garrett Wilson over Debo. I love Garrett Wilson.
He might be alive after all. I think Zach Wilson figured out
14 targets.
If you throw to your best receiver, it usually works out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marcos Valdez-Scantling, half PPR. Sit one of these. Chase, Ayuk, Puka. Next.
Puka. I would sit Ayuk, I think, which is nuts. What receivers? Oh my god! But I think I would go Puka and Chase. Who do you say?
I already said earlier Ayuk over Puka, so I'm gonna go Chase. I'm gonna sit Puka.
You're sitting Puka. Oh well, all righty. That's gonna be a fun one. That's such a great option. I don't know.
How about just throw him in your flex instead?
Yeah.
Fatty Mateo need a receiver, running back in a flex, full PPR. Brees, Madison, Garrett, Thielen, Hollywood. So you need 3 of these.
I would go Madison. I would go Garrett. No, I go Brees is the number 1. Garrett is the number 2. Madison. Madison Hollywood's close, but I would go Madison there as the flex.
I'm with you there. Chris, good morning. Wolf, sit, start. Jaleel McLaughlin or Tank Dell?
I'm going Tank Dell. I love Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Always Tank Dell for me.
Steve Hernandez, who would you start with tight end for the rest of the season? Ertz or Komet?
Probably Komet, honestly. The higher ceilings seems like the floor is kind of bouncing out there. I would go Komet.
Brian Fitz, so much turkey. I'm sick today. So I'm just sitting on the couch, but normally I'd eat an embarrassing amount. Seems like the Canadian Thanksgiving just copied our Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving. So yeah, a lot of turkey. Love to hear it. I wish you were eating an embarrassing amount today. I hope you feel better soon, Brian. Maybe you can have a makeup.
I kind of wish it was like there was more to that. Like
you kind of wish it was what?
I wish there was like something different. I don't know.
Yeah, like a brisket or like
Yeah.
Yeah, but turkey, Thanksgiving staple. I hope you feel better soon though, Brian.
Mike Clay, Rice or McLaughlin?
I go McLaughlin there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Bearded, Stevenson or Jamal Williams? Not Jamal Williams or Javonte Williams.
Is Jameson Williams? It could be. There's
Jameson.
A lot of Jay Williams out there. I guess Stevenson, but I don't know. Yeah, let us know what it is.
I just want to highlight that one more time.
Yeah. Appreciate the insight, boys. Love the show. We love you, Chillard. Thanks again. $8 super chat. Much appreciated supporting your boys here, Chillard. I know you got us a little off track, but it's fun to talk about. I had to rant a little bit.
Chillard never calls in. It'd be a good argument.
Yeah, he'd be a good call-in.
Although it would last like 45 minutes. We'd have to do that on like a Tuesday or something.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Does that be if I play Aaron Jones, who do I flex, Sutton or McLaughlin?
Ooh, I'd probably go Sutton still. But I don't know. I might go McLaughlin over Sutton if Javonte's out. I would.
Yeah, if Javonte. Yeah.
If Javonte plays, I'd probably stick with
you're
Sutton.
able to wait, obviously.
Yeah.
Mr. Buss, Zay Flowers or Brees Hall, Damian Pierce?
Brees Hall. And I love Zay Flowers. That tells you how much I'm excited about Brees Hall.
Yeah, I have Brees locked in today as well. Elias Waller or Ferguson, full PPR?
I would go. I go Ferguson. I do.
It's fucking disgusting.
I don't really want to trust any Giants that I don't have to, and I think Ferguson's been steady enough that I'd probably go that route. Honestly,
that Waller thing is like the most upsetting thing of this year.
Yeah.
Do we have Campanelli? What are we looking at?
He's a field goal. JT, Olave, Aaron Jones, and Kyron. I would go Kyron over those other options there. So. I'd go Ferguson and Kyron here.
Gerard Bueno. I already got hit with the Fields Moore combo. I would just wrap it up and play next week. So I want to just have fun and play Jaleel and A-Chain over Pierce and JT. Honestly, I would go A-Chain and JT. I feel like it's more fun.
A-Chain is definitely in there. Yeah, what is Jaleel more fun than JT? I don't know. Maybe the snap count makes him a little less fun, but I'd probably go JT and A-Chain there. But Jaleel is if that's what you're feeling and you want some fun, go for it. I really do like Jaleel.
I think JT is more fun.
Maybe.
Snoopy. Full PPR, Nico or Kyron in the flex.
Oh man, this is really going to test my you can't bench Kyron. I I still go Kyron, I think, right? Like, I'm still going Kyron here. Where go you, Kyron, versus me? That's tough.
Yeah, I'm going with the starting running back. Although, actually, I have them both in the same league, but I'm able to start them this week with
Yeah.
5. Kyron, myself, too.
Me too.
RN, why Watson over Dubs, and do I agree? I do agree. Watson just has almost a higher ceiling. He's more fun. I can just picture like a bomber too coming down for Watson.
Yeah, because last year on the 67th most targets, he had the 4th most touchdowns in the league. He was a bona fide top 3 receiver behind only Davante Adams for like the 5 weeks he was starting. He was having a great camp. He had one little injury, but man, he's got that could come in and turn around fantasy league, be a wide receiver 1, top 12 guy. Maybe not. And Dobbs does have that floor and paper. So if you want just a guaranteed 8 to 10, you could probably get that with Dobbs. But Watson could get you 40, and it's against the Raiders. I think it's a great spot for him to get that 40 and really come out. So it's really just a ceiling over floor and just watching what he did last year. Absolute game record. I like them in my lineup when I have.
And he actually looked pretty fast, and he didn't put up really the numbers.
It was limited snap count, but he looked good out there, and he didn't have any setbacks. They played it right.
Denzel Barrett, Jalen Warren, or Zay Jones? Wait, Zay's.
No, it's probably Zay Flowers. And
Zay Flowers.
Jalen Warren, no way. It's got to be Zay Flowers, 100%.
Tunes, any clue why Higgins isn't listed as out on Yahoo?
They might not have submitted the official injury report, so that's when the moves actually get registered in there. I don't know. It's already been told that he's going to rule out, but that's just a source reporting it. So I don't know if the Bengals just have been holding it out and then will eventually. But that's really annoying because that does limit what you can do with moves and whatnot. I would just say wait it out till game time and drop a kicker for now if you have to pick someone up or whatever it might be. Yeah, that sucks. Pain in the ass.
Daddy
Thank you,
Davis.
Gerard Bueno.
20-yard touchdown. 20-yard touchdown for the Daddy.
To Daddy Davis?
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Allen, maybe he can come back here. This is why he's fun, because he had 10 points with 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, essentially. Now he's starting to rack those points up. We're going to go watch the rest of that game. We're going to finalize our lineups, too. Thank you so much, though, for spending your Sunday morning with us. We love you. We really appreciate it. I won't be back, most likely. I don't know if we'll have one. I know you're working, CJ. Maybe we'll get Matt and Mo. That'd be a fun show. We could get them on. But it might just be a no recap show tonight. I have some friends visiting. So, yeah, it's going to be I don't think I should be on air. Is how we should put that.
Or you should
have a Sunday fun day, no school tomorrow. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot it's school holiday tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a Sunday. I love the show, too. I'm going to miss it. I love our recap show, but it's going to be one of those Sundays to just enjoy. So cheers, guys. Best of luck, Matt B. I would go Ayuk and Olave there. I would not play tanked out. But best of luck, guys. Hope you all get those W's in week 5. Thanks again so much for being here. All the content at roadtripjournal.com. Until next time, the Wolf and Fancy Sheep guys, be the Wolf. Later.